3 months ago, I walked into Sunset Manor thinking I was just dropping off my parents for a temporary stay. What I discovered in those sterile hallways changed everything I thought I knew about aging, family, and what it truly means to live with dignity. My modern and unstoppable seniors, if you've ever wondered what really happens behind nursing home doors, or if you're facing this decision yourself, what I'm about to share will save you years of regret and help you navigate this journey with wisdom and grace. But first, if you're new to Wellness for Modern Seniors, hit that subscribe button right now. We're building a community of seniors who refuse to let age define their limits, and I want you to be part of this movement. Ring that notification bell too. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming. I'm here today, not as someone who read about nursing homes in a textbook, but as someone who lived through the emotional roller coaster of watching my vibrant, independent parents suddenly need full-time care. Dad, 78 years old, had a stroke that left him struggling with mobility. Mom, 75, had been his caregiver for months until her own health started declining. The decision to move them into assisted living wasn't made lightly. It was made through tears, sleepless nights, and countless family meetings that felt more like negotiations than conversations. What I learned in those first few weeks wasn't just about nursing homes. It was about resilience, about the power of community, and about how our perspective on aging can either trap us or set us free. Before we dive in, I want you to do something. In the comments below, tell me, have you or someone you love faced this transition? Just type yes if you have, or considering if you're thinking about it. I read every single comment, and your stories matter to this community. Lesson 1. The power of letting go without giving up. The first thing that hit me like a freight train was this: there's a massive difference between letting go and giving up. I walked into that facility carrying guilt heavier than a suitcase, full of regrets. I felt like I was abandoning the two people who had given me everything. But here's what I discovered: my unstoppable seniors. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is admit you can't do it all. 3 days after they moved in, I found Dad in the activity room playing chess with an 82-year-old retired engineer named Frank. Dad was laughing, actually laughing, for the first time in months. Mom was across the room in a book club, debating the merits of mystery novels with women who had become instant friends. I realized I'd been so focused on what they were losing that I couldn't see what they were gaining. Listen to me carefully, because this is crucial. Letting go of the idea that you have to handle everything alone isn't failure. It's wisdom. It's recognizing that sometimes love means accepting help, whether you're the one receiving it or the one arranging it. If this is resonating with you, give me a thumbs up right now. And if you know someone who needs to hear this message, share this video with them. Sometimes we all need permission to stop carrying the world on our shoulders. Lesson 2. Community isn't just a buzzword, it's medicine. The second revelation nearly knocked me over. Isolation is deadlier than most diseases, but community is medicine. Before the move, Dad spent most days in his recliner, watching the same news programs on repeat. Mom bustled around him, but they rarely had meaningful conversations with anyone outside their shrinking circle. They were existing, not living. Within 2 weeks at Sunset Manor, something miraculous happened. Dad joined the morning walking group. Yes, even with his mobility challenges, he found a way to participate. Mom discovered she had a talent for organizing events and became the unofficial social coordinator for her floor. But here's the part that made me cry happy tears. They started talking about their days with excitement again. Dad would tell me about helping a new resident learn to use the computer. Mom would share stories about the cooking class, where she taught her famous apple pie recipe to a group of women who hung on her every word. My modern seniors, here's what I want you to understand. We're not meant to age in isolation. We're social creatures who thrive on connection, purpose, and belonging. Whether you're in your own home with family or in a care facility, the quality of your relationships determines the quality of your life. If you're living independently, ask yourself, when was the last time you had a meaningful conversation with someone new? When did you last feel needed, not just loved? If you can't answer those questions easily, it's time to make some changes. Look for senior centers in your area, Join clubs based on your interests. Volunteer for causes you care about. Don't wait for community to find you. Go out and create it. Okay, my unstoppable community, we're just getting started, but I need your help right now. This video is packed with insights that could change how you or your loved ones approach aging. But it only helps people if YouTube knows you're engaged. So here's what I need you to do. Hit that like button if these first 2 lessons have given you something to think about. Leave a comment telling me which lesson hit you hardest. Was it about letting go or about the power of community? If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? We're building something special here at Wellness for Modern Seniors, because what's coming next will challenge everything you think you know about independence, dignity, and what it means to age gracefully. Lesson 3 is about a conversation I had with my mum that changed my entire perspective on strength and vulnerability. Don't go anywhere. You won't want to miss this. Lesson 3. Strength isn't about never needing help. 2 weeks into their stay, I sat with Mom in the garden courtyard. She was quiet, which was unusual for her. Finally, she looked at me and said something that shattered every assumption I had about what it means to be strong. "Honey," she said, "I spent 75 years thinking that being strong meant never asking for help. Now I realize that real strength is knowing when to ask for it." My modern and unstoppable seniors, this hit me like lightning. We live in a culture that worships independence, that sees needing assistance as somehow diminishing our worth. But here's what I learned watching my parents navigate this transition. True strength isn't about carrying everything alone. It's about having the courage to say, "I need support," and the wisdom to accept it gracefully. I watched Dad struggle with his walker for the first week, refusing help from the staff. He was determined to prove he could manage on his own. Then one day I saw him accept a steadying hand from Marie, one of the care assistants. Instead of looking defeated, he looked relieved. He told me later, "I finally understood that accepting help doesn't make me weak, it makes me smart." Here's what this means for you if you're struggling with mobility, with household tasks, with loneliness, with health challenges. Asking for help isn't giving up your independence. It's preserving your dignity while ensuring your safety and well-being. Whether it's hiring a house cleaner, joining a support group, asking a neighbor to check on you, or yes, even considering assisted living. These aren't signs of failure, they're signs of wisdom. Comment below and tell me, what's one area where you could use more support but have been too proud to ask? Let's normalize needing each other, because that's what community is all about. Lesson 4. Your story matters more than you think. The 4th lesson came from an unexpected source. Harold, an 86-year-old former factory worker who lived down the hall from my parents. Harold had been quiet since his arrival, keeping to himself, eating meals alone. The staff was concerned he was falling into depression. Then one day, Mom convinced him to join her book club. It turns out Harold couldn't read very well. He'd left school at 14 to work and support his family during the Depression. But here's what happened next that made me believe in the power of human connection all over again. Instead of being embarrassed, Harold became the group's storyteller. He would listen to the books being discussed, then share stories from his own life that connected to the themes. Stories about resilience during hard times, about love that lasted through decades of struggle, about finding joy in simple moments. Within a month, Harold had transformed from the quiet man in the corner to the heart of that book club. People would specifically ask for his perspective because his life experiences gave context and meaning to everything they read. My unstoppable seniors, here's what Harold taught me. Your stories aren't just memories, they're gifts. Every challenge you've overcome, every lesson you've learned, every moment of joy you've experienced, these aren't just personal history. They're wisdom that can guide and inspire others. Don't let anyone make you feel like your experiences don't matter because they happened back then. The world needs your perspective now more than ever. Whether you're in a care facility, living independently, or somewhere in between, share your stories. Write them down, tell them to your family, share them with new friends. Your life has created wisdom that only you can offer. I want you to think about one story from your life that taught you something important. Maybe it's about overcoming a difficult time, or about a moment of unexpected kindness, or about a decision that changed everything? Share a piece of that story in the comments below. Let's create a library of wisdom right here in our Wellness for Modern Seniors community. Lesson 5, Preview. The conversation that changed everything. Now, what I'm about to share with you in our final lesson is the most important thing I learned. And it comes from a conversation I had with both my parents 6 weeks after they moved in. They told me something that completely flipped my understanding of what it means to age gracefully, and it's going to challenge everything you think you know about getting older. But before we get there, I need to pause and ask you something crucial. Are you getting value from this? Because if you are, I need you to help me reach more people who need to hear these messages. Hit that like button right now. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. And if you haven't subscribed to Wellness for Modern Seniors yet, what are you waiting for? We're building a movement of seniors who refuse to be invisible, who refuse to be dismissed, who refuse to let age define their limitations. Your engagement tells YouTube that this content matters, that seniors matter, that our stories and wisdom deserve to be heard. So please take 2 seconds and hit that subscribe button. Your future self will thank you for joining this community. Lesson 5. The most powerful truth about aging. 6 weeks after my parents moved into Sunset Manor, I sat down with both of them for what I thought would be a check-in conversation. What they told me that afternoon changed everything I believed about aging, independence, and what it truly means to live a fulfilling life. I asked them the question I'd been dreading. Do you feel like you've lost your independence? Dad looked at Mom and they both started laughing. Not bitter laughter, not sad laughter, genuine, joyful laughter. Honey, Mom said, we haven't lost our independence. We've discovered what independence really means. My modern and unstoppable seniors, what she said next, will stay with me forever. For years, I thought independence meant doing everything myself, cooking every meal, cleaning every corner, managing every detail of our lives. But that wasn't independence. That was imprisonment. I was so busy maintaining the illusion of self-sufficiency that I forgot to actually live. Dad nodded and added, real independence isn't about doing everything yourself. It's about having the freedom to choose how you spend your energy and time. Now that we don't have to worry about home maintenance, grocery shopping, and meal preparation, we actually have more freedom than we've had in years. And then Mom said something that brought tears to my eyes. I'm 85 years old and I'm finally free to just be myself. Here's what they meant. They were spending their time on things that brought them joy and purpose. Dad was mentoring young people who visited through a volunteer program. Mom was teaching cooking classes and organizing social events. They were reading books they'd always meant to read, having conversations that mattered, building friendships with people who shared their interests. They weren't less independent. They were more authentically themselves than they'd been in decades. My unstoppable seniors, this is the truth nobody talks about. Real independence isn't about where you live or how much help you need with daily tasks. It's about maintaining your autonomy over the choices that define who you are. Whether you're living in your own home with family or in a care community, the question isn't, can I do everything myself? The question is, am I free to be the person I want to be? If you're struggling with this transition, or if you're helping a loved one through it, remember this. You don't lose your identity when you accept help. You preserve it by focusing your energy on what truly matters to you. Let me summarize these 5 life-changing lessons for you, because these aren't just observations. They're a roadmap for aging with dignity and joy. Lesson 1. There's a difference between letting go and giving up. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is accept that you need support, whether you're receiving it or arranging it for someone you love. Lesson 2. Community isn't a luxury, it's medicine. Isolation kills, but connection heals. Actively seek out meaningful relationships and purposeful activities, no matter your age or circumstances. Lesson 3. True strength isn't about never needing help. It's about having the courage to ask for it and the wisdom to accept it gracefully. Your worth isn't measured by your self-sufficiency. Lesson 4. Your stories matter more than you think. Every experience you've had, every lesson you've learned, every challenge you've overcome, These aren't just memories, they're wisdom that the world desperately needs. Lesson 5. Real independence isn't about doing everything yourself. It's about having the freedom to choose how you spend your precious time and energy on what truly matters to you. My modern and unstoppable seniors, these lessons aren't just about nursing homes or assisted living. They're about redefining what it means to age successfully in a culture that often sees getting older as something to fear rather than celebrate. You have the power to change that narrative, starting with how you view your own aging journey. Here's what I want you to do right now. Think about one small change you can make this week that aligns with these lessons. Maybe it's reaching out to an old friend, joining a new group, asking for help with something you've been struggling with, or sharing a story from your life with someone younger. Whatever it is, take that step. Because every action you take to live more authentically and connectedly makes the path easier for everyone who comes after you. I want to end with something important, because what we're building here at Wellness for Modern Seniors is bigger than just one YouTube channel. We're creating a movement that says seniors aren't invisible. We're not irrelevant. We're not just waiting around for the end. We're vibrant, wise, and still contributing to the world in meaningful ways. But this movement only grows if you help it grow. If this video has given you a new perspective, if it's helped you see aging differently, if it's provided comfort during a difficult decision, then I need you to do 3 things. First, hit that like button, not just because it helps with the YouTube algorithm, but because it tells other seniors that this content is valuable, that these conversations matter. Second, subscribe to Wellness for Modern Seniors and ring that notification bell. I'm creating content specifically for people who refuse to let age define their limitations, and I want you to be part of every conversation we have. Third, share this video. Share it with adult children who are struggling with decisions about their parents. Share it with friends who are facing these transitions themselves. Share it with anyone who needs to hear that aging doesn't mean losing yourself. It can mean finding yourself. In the comments below, I want you to tell me which of these 5 lessons resonated most with you, and what's one step you're going to take this week to live more authentically. I read every single comment because your stories and insights make this community richer. We learn from each other, we support each other, and we prove every day that getting older is not about decline, it's about evolution. My modern and unstoppable seniors, thank you for being part of this journey. Thank you for refusing to be invisible. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and for being open to new perspectives. Remember, you're not just aging, you're becoming, and the world needs exactly who you're becoming. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll explore how to maintain your sense of purpose and passion no matter what life throws your way. Until then, keep being unstoppable. This is Wellness for Modern Seniors, and you are exactly where you need to be.